So you get an idea of what the show's like. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see.
Okay. My first pet, his name is Cassio. He was a beautiful white cat with one green eye and one blue eye. He was probably 13 years old. I remember when my guardian, she used to go away on vacation during the winter. We lived in Vermont. So she would go to California, and it was my job to take care of Cassio, clean the house, and make sure everything was okay. Now, I was so excited. Well, not because, I had more responsibility, but I was so excited because I got to do the things that I wanted to do. So every day I come home from school and I would go straight to the trailer. That's where we lived. And I would feed Cassio and straighten up the house, and I'd watch a little TV. Little House on the Prairie was my favorite show. It's great. So when I got finished, I would go and I could do homework, and I would read books. I loved reading books. Judy Blume, she rocks. And I would talk on the phone to my friend Jennifer. She was so awesome, and we'd do lots of great stuff. So while Auntie was away, I got to do all this great stuff. So I would come home from school, I would feed Cassio, I would watch TV, straighten up, and then I would go get to do all the things I wanted to do. And then I came up with the idea that maybe, just maybe, if I opened 2 cans of cat food, then I would only have to go and see Cassio every other day, right? So it was great. I did it, and it worked. And Cassio was happy, and he was fed, and I got to read more books and watch more TV, and well, if it worked for 2 days, then technically, if I opened 5 cans of food, I would only have to go like once a week, or oh, that'd be great. So I did it, and I tried it, and it was great. And I read books, and I talked to Jennifer, and I went to the movies, and I got to do all kinds of cool stuff, and there was watching TV, and it was great. I had so much fun. But then it was time for Auntie to come home, and so I might have forgotten once or twice about feeding Cassio. So I came home and I went straight to the trailer and to feed him. I used to walk in the door and he would come running, but he didn't. Well, I knew when I opened his food, he'll come running. It's okay. But I opened his food and he didn't come. He didn't come. So I started getting this feeling in the bottom of my stomach, and I was like, oh, this can't be good. So I started to look for him. I looked in her room, and there's no Cassio. And I looked in the bathroom. He likes the bathroom. There was no Cassio. And then I was just crying, and because I know that something bad happened, and I can't find him. So I looked in my room, and I looked in the closet, and he wasn't there. And I looked on the bed, and he wasn't there. And I looked on my hands and knees, and I looked under the bed, and there he was. And rigor mortis had set in, and his mouth was half open. And I was crying, and I just couldn't believe it. Well, I can't let her know. I can't let her know that I killed her cat. Oh, it's okay. I'm the only one that knows. So technically, if I'm the only one that knows, all I have to do is just get rid of him. I can make it look like he ran away. I watched a lot of Matlock, and as long as you don't tell anyone, you're fine. So I opened the back door, and I picked up Cassio, and I made footprints in the snow with him, and then all the way to the woods, and I threw his body back into the woods, and I erased my footprints, and I cleaned the trailer, and everything was fine, and no one would know, because I'm the only one that knows, and no one would know. So I went home, back to her son's house, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he said he had gone to the trailer. Everything looked nice. Everything was place. I looked at him and then he looked at me and he said, but I didn't see Cassio. Don't tell, just don't tell, don't tell, don't tell. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I cracked. I killed a cat and I threw his body and the footprints in the snow and I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. And he handed me a flashlight at 10 o'clock at night and told me to go get him. So I went and got the cat and he stayed in our freezer until spring when I had to bury him. But yeah, that was my first pet.
Oh my goodness, that's in the show?
That's in the show.
So if you want to know more about what happens to you, you gotta go to your show.